Happy 4th of July. Good morning. Didn't scare me, no sir. That was a big one. A lot of noise being made. Hopefully the Thunderbird will be able to make some noise today. That would be truly great. I'll do a little walk around here. Those that have saw this on Facebook, well, a lot of it's stuff you already know. But for somebody that's never seen it, this is a Model 55 T-Bird made by Shay, sold by Ford in 1981. Do a little Google search. Shay Motor Company history. Very interesting story. And what I've done is I've pulled the 2.3 Pinto engine out of the Shay, and I have put in a Gen 2 Coyote. Now, a lot of things have worked out real well. This is the original Shay fuel tank, and I used a kit made by a company called Tanks, and it allows you to put a fuel pump in the tank. I don't know if you can see that or not up in there. Puts a little trough from the top that's sitting about here, and that's what the pump pumps out of and the return feeds back into. And I am really happy with how easily it was done, and I certainly hope that it works. It wasn't cheap. You see the low pressure return, high pressure feed, and up here we have our Corvette fuel filter slash pressure regulator that busts the pressure off at 59 pounds, making this a return style fuel system, where originally in the Mustang it was a return-less. Things that have been done, as you can see, the X member was cut and flanged so that this center section comes out. This is the transmission mount that you buy from LMR. It puts a polyurethane bushing and comes with this little cross member with it. So all I had to do is make a template to get this shape, cut this, put it in place, weld it in, drop the X member out, finish welding it, and that allowed me to mount my TKX 5-speed with a 0.68 overdrive and a 2.89 first gear. The shifter is actually sticking up through the original hole in the floor. How about that? One of the other many things that I've lucked out on this. This is a bell housing that Tremec makes to put this transmission in your 79 through 04 Mustangs. It has the cable clutch release lever, and who would have ever thought that that bell housing would make putting a Coyote in a 55 Shay T-Bird so easy. Coming up here, these are the original Shay motor mount stanchions. These are 04 Mustang motor mounts. They bolt right onto a Coyote, and they set right down in the Shay frame stanchions on both sides. How much easier could it have gotten, huh? The whole bottom of the engine is viewable. Anything ever happens where guys gotta do some serious maintenance, there it is. It's just open. The entire engine is behind the front axle on a Tbird. And this car is exact dimensions of an original Tbird. But being a Shay, it has a very lightweight square tube chassis that is also really rigid due to the X member and so forth. The fiberglass body and the square tube allows this car, as it sits right now, to be 2,700 pounds, a full 1,000 pounds lighter than you would find that an original Tbird would be. Radiator, I found a Chinese radiator on eBay that just sets between the frame rails. Again, how lucky could you get? I made the sway bar that you see in this picture, and I will be converting this car from 4 lug hubs to 5 lug, as the next thing that has to happen is get rid of the Pinto 4 lug rear axle and put a 9-inch rear axle under here. Point of interest, that exhaust coming from the engine is stock Mustang to right there. At that point, the guy I bought the Thunderbird from had dual exhaust put on by some muffler shop, and when I got the Coyote sitting in here, the 4 pipes were all just looking at each other. All I had to do is build a small extension onto the glass packs, and it's on there. Now, are the glass packs going to stay? We'll find out here in a minute or two when this thing fires off. Never heard a Mustang with glass packs on it, a Coyote Mustang with glass packs on it, so it's one of those wait and see things. A lot of tidying up to be done. I like to get things running, working, okay, it's good, and then go back in and do things like tidy up the cables that are hanging wild and so forth. I started on this somewhere, I actually pulled the 2.3 out somewhere around the end April. So May, June, 1st of July, and here we are. I think that I have everything. That's the AC wire for the 2-speed Hayden fan control. I think I have everything connected. And again, I've got a lot of tidying up to do. I don't like to do all the tidying up and then find out, oh darn, that's not going to work, and have to cut a jillion zip ties, reroute wires. See my aluminum radiator, that top hose, this is stock Mustang hose to here, and that was just a hose that my local auto parts store had. I cut off. Power by the hour, save the day. In the instructions for the controller, they emphasize over and over that you must have this piece on your Coyote or it is not going to run. Now, when the time comes to figure out how to put that piece in the car, well, shit, that ain't gonna work. And you got to have this part of it is a given diameter and a given flow rate, so the mass air sensor knows how many pounds of air are going through here. As long as it knows that, it will correct almost anything that you're going to do to your engine, and you'll get the right tune, right mixture. Now that does not take away from need to have it tuned. But supposedly, I can pretty much do whatever I want beyond cams and bigger injectors and so forth, throttle body change out, and the controller will adjust for it. So as soon as this thing has proven itself and it's going to run, and I'm not going to have trouble, well, the first modification is hanging right there on the wall. So powered by the hours mass air sensor unit with the cone filter. No, it wasn't cheap, but look, all I got to do is make a little something to hold this filter about here, and it's done. And that's where your fuel pump connects to your fuel line, to your fuel log. These are the stock Mustang heater hoses. I will build a box to bring air from this area to the filter, versus this filter only being able to bring in air that has come through the radiator, because this front end is really sealed off tight. Now that fan, that I think is referred to as a Taurus fan. It is a Dorman product. Used to be, you could buy those for like 75 bucks brand new. That one was over $100 post-pandemic price. Just such a super easy